And a big police operation is planned for today after further protests are expected at a coal-fired power station in Nottinghamshire. Environmental campaigners are expected to continue their protest this morning at a coal-fired power station in Nottinghamshire. 80 people were arrested yesterday and a police officer was airlifted to hospital with head injuries. Our news reporter Anthony Bartram is at the Ratcliffe-on-Soar power station this morning. A little earlier he told me the police were out in force, waiting to see what the protesters' next move is.
Yesterday, for the main part, the police seemed to be adopting a fairly softly approach to what was going on here, and for a large part of the day it was fairly good-natured, but then we got an impression really that the protesters felt that they were gaining some ground, that they were certainly having some success in relatively small numbers to begin with, getting certainly beyond the outer fencing, and then we saw quite a big contingent just along that line to a far bank over there, 200 or 300 in the end, making a real charge on the fence, and that was where I understand most of their injuries occurred. As I say, 3 officers were taken to hospital there, happily were discharged overnight. So as far as the injury is concerned, not serious, but you know, some sustained on both sides. So as I say, here we are on the second day of action, really waiting to see what the climate camp protesters have planned for today.
And just briefly, Anthony, why in particular are they targeting this power station?
Well, it's one of the biggest power stations in the country. The climate camp protesters claim it's one of the most polluting in the country. Clearly it's a coal-fired power station, and they believe that that we should be looking at alternative renewable energy as a future generation of generating power. But of course E.ON, the company behind it, say that they've put millions of pounds into trying to clean up this power station. They've got techniques involving to try and cut down on the carbon and sulphur emissions, certainly, but that's not what the climate change people are saying needs to be the way forward. So that's why they're targeting this station here, to make a statement really that coal-fired power stations need to be consigned to the history books.
Anthony Bartram there at Ratcliffe-on-Soar in Nottinghamshire. Time for a look